Hello, everybody. My name is Elisha Royal, and welcome back to CEDH Unhinged. We are today going to lower down our camera and talk a little bit about changing our deck list. So we're playing Urza, and I got a couple of games in with a new list. I already thought up a couple of changes, but it's been doing well. But everything about this list requires continuous improvement. So even if we feel like it's doing well, that means that we're probably just getting started in the right direction. Um, we're going to swap out right now Ponder for Hullbreaker Horror. Why did we not have Hullbreaker Horror, a classic card in an Urza list in the first place? Because it sucks to have in your opening hand. It's a dead card until later, and it also sucks to be storming off, which is our primary win condition in theory, and then run into it. So we didn't have it in the list. What I found is that in order to break out of the mid-range grind, we are going to need more win conditions that are difficult to interact with. And Hullbreaker, being uncounterable on the stack, is a great option. And then we have our creature protection spells and things like that, which of course they can interact with it when we're trying to attach it, but maybe there's something to work with there. My point is that we need more hard win cons because we don't run our Isochron Scepter combo either. Dramatic Reversal is a great card, but it feels a little bit dead in your opening hand as well. And Isochron Scepter, if you don't have that Dramatic Reversal in hand, feels really bad because even if you do have something like a Pondrify in hand that you would like to attach to that Isochron, you're paying 2 and then another 2 in order to activate it, that rotation. So it's like, would I rather have that piece of interaction, which is usually in our list the only one that we have in hand, available, or will I forego having it available for a rotation in order to, pay double the price next turn in order to activate it? The Isochron Scepter just doesn't really make sense in this list because we're filled with 1 mana interaction that we are paying 4 mana to activate. And so it's only there as a win condition. Let's say that we're casting off of the top, we run into the Isochron, we're going negative in mana when we're storming to cast that thing, normally imprinting nothing, and and we normally don't have that dramatic reversal in hand, and we don't have any way to tutor for the dramatic reversal. So that's why we're not running Isochron combos there. But again, we're going to put in that Hullbreaker to increase our win con density just a little bit. We can afford to have one more card that we can't easily cast off the top. Just be like, okay, we added one more land, something like that. Of course, it comes at the expense of Ponder, which was our top deck manipulation. This, I guess, shows that we don't necessarily. I would like to have those cantrips in there. We want the top deck manipulation, but the fact of the matter is that we don't have the slot. If we need to have more top deck manipulation, we will add it, but we are not getting to that point of the game, that top deck casting consistently enough in order to warrant having cards specifically tuned in order to make it go more smoothly once we've already gotten there. We need the cards that get us to the top deck casting or close the game like this Hullbreaker. We don't need win more cards that are designed to allow the storm to keep continuing once we've already started. We'll just rely on it as a top deck cast advantage thing, a backup win condition if we have our cost reducers in our top. That's always what we should be going for. But really, it's our way to just get a lot of cards on the field in order to get something like our Basalt combos going, get our rings and our Basalt, and that's typically going to be the way that we're infinite mana winning this game. Hullbreaker is again going to be just one of those game enders, and then we're also looking at our Valley Flood Caller and our Battered Golem. We're going to be having those a lot, and we run both the Helixes, and we also run both haste enablers that give protection. So those, in theory, should get rid of the biggest downside that those cards have, which is being creatures and being summoning sick. That being said, what we're going to do today is break out the binder, and we are going to go through the possible cards that we could add in. So I mentioned that our list performed really well. Well, sorry about the audio on that. Yeah, my microphone died, and so I had to grab my little backup here. Um, Sorry about that. I don't know what I was explaining out of the end, but it was probably something about this binder and how we are going to go through it in order to make sure that we are not missing anything that we should be adding. So let's set our deck aside. Let's make sure that we've got, most of our binder in frame for you. Do one of these, give it a check. Okay. I figured I should start doing that. I should start seeing that you can actually look at the cards. Okay. And of course, we are here to build an Urza deck. All right. We already know that we're looking for that Hullbreaker Horror, but really what we're going to do is just give it a quick skim and be like, oh man, that card would be just so good in this list. Oddly enough, I really like the idea of Karn. Um, Not this Karn, but this Karn, the one you're familiar with. So we're just going to set that aside. It costs 4. It doesn't storm, but it looks good right now. I don't know why. We'll just put that in the set aside pile. Mirrodin Besieged. It's another creator. And I suppose it does have kind of that weird end step, 15 or more artifact card in the graveyard, target opponent loses the game thing. And we could actually hit 15. But I don't think that we're quite there yet. That's not a thing where I was like, man, I could really use another one of those. Unstoppable Plan. No. I'm really honestly not expecting anything to just jump out at me because the list really did perform up to expectation, but it's just doing our due diligence. Sorry, I had to unzip my jacket a little bit. We have to do our due diligence and make sure that we are improving the deck, and part of that is looking with a fresh perspective at the best options here after we've played the list in its current form. And it's pretty straightforward. Just play the list, record your mental thoughts, what could have gone better about that game, what cards are underperforming, and then just make swaps. And some people say that you should play a whole bunch of games before you're making swaps and things like that. I can get a pretty good feel like, oh man, this could have been way better. That could have been way better. Thibblethip, I'm really skeptical, or I'm really like interested in using you as a card, right? Um, but I don't think it's going to work out because we need the value from the card now. C double. Mm-mm. Did we need more tutors? I didn't feel like we needed a personal or a mystical. I didn't even feel like we needed a merchant scroll. I really didn't. Um, yeah, I mean, Born's a great card. Are we looking for flash speed? Loyal Inventor is kind of an interesting card in this list that you might not have heard about. It gets any artifact card, you reveal it, put it on the top. We cast off the top, so that's kind of cool, but we're not getting our top deck casters very often, so I don't want cards that are only good if that's on the field. You see what I'm saying? I need cards that are good all the time and then really shine when that top deck caster is on the field. I think Loyal Inventor is unfortunately in that category that's only good when that top deck caster is there, and therefore not a viable card for us today. I'm sorry. Chief Engineer. Artifact spells you cast have Convoke. Do we run enough creatures for that? I think Riddlesmith, same category. Final Word Phantom, same category. Yeah, but what I'm saying there is like basically Chief Engineer. My artifacts are already cheap. We don't need more mana. This thing is only good when we have our top deck caster. This thing is only good when we have other things that aren't even in this list. We don't need more reducers. This one, Scroll Rack in this list. I feel like Scroll Rack is probably really good. I just don't understand how it works. Let's see. Exile any number of cards from your hand face down. We normally don't have any cards in our hand. We just play everything. Been looking at the exile cards. Yeah, I don't think we're going to be doing that. Vidalcan Archmage could be really nasty whenever you play an artifact draw. I think that's one of those things where the game is going long enough that is nasty. That's looking nasty. We're looking at 4 costs being not so scary. I've been really avoiding them, but we're not getting there. So we need a grindy set of cards. Let's take a look at this next page. Non-artifacts costing 1 more. Let's do a quick rundown. Let's do a quick rundown of the list. I'm looking at it here on Moxfield. Lodestone of non-artifact spells cost 1 more. Would that actually... What combo of mine does that shut down? Does it shut down any? Not really. And like, how many non-artifacts do I have? So let's count it up. So I'm looking at 1, 2, 3. Oh my goodness, we really have a lot of artifacts. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and I'm not counting the MDFCs. I'm counting those as lands. So 7 creatures that would be more expensive if the lodestone was out. It's unfortunate. If I did my... Yeah, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. Okay. And then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. So we've got basically 10, 11, 12, and then 11 instants, right? So basically 20% of the deck, and then the rest are island. Okay, and then enchantments. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Geez. So basically 30% of the deck becomes more expensive. But it doesn't shut down any of my stuff. I think I mean, I'm trying to justify this card way too hard, and I think that's a good indication that it doesn't fit the list. I gave it genuine consideration, and it didn't make it. Thieving Skydiver, you're kind of interesting, but I don't think that you make the list either right now. Artificer's Assistant, again, only if I had another slot for you. 101st card. Tidespout, I'm more afraid of you getting copied than I am confident I will win the game with you, because I just won the game with a Mirage Mirror, copying a Tidespout in a tournament before I went on my honeymoon the other month at Guardian. Yeah, so Tidespout, I think not being flash speed or uncounterable makes a big difference. And that 1 mana, it tends to be too much. So Tidespout, I'm sorry, you don't actually make the list right now. Mindstone, are you better than Felwar? Because you have that sack and draw. What an interesting thought. Because that's a huge ability. If you're like, oh man, I gotta casting off the top, Mind Stone. And the colorless goes into the Flesh Raker, and we're running 40 artifacts anyways. And then we have a lot of artifact creatures, but the blue pips really, blue pips are good, but we're depending on our lands for those 2 blue. That's where we're getting 2 blue from. We're gonna set Mind Stone aside. That's cool. Can't run these. Don't want to run these. Sorry. You don't do things immediately. Glasses of Urza. What an interesting card right now. I would like to play that card in this deck, but because it taps, I will not do it. I would be totally down if it was one of those cards that you could activate, without tapping it, and just be like, okay, it was only once a turn that you can do that. Sorry, I'm adjusting the mic. I don't know what that sounds like on your end. It'd be cool if it functioned that way, but it doesn't. The Drakes, man. The Drakes are so tempting. I used to run Double Drake in this list, and we might be heading back to Double Drake. Double Drake. Yeah, maybe the Drakes come back, bro. That's the kind of 2 mana interaction I can get behind, right? Chrome Host, Seed Shark, acquire, Lantern. Um, do you see anything here, guys? We already talked about Preordain. Thada, nah. Am I acquiring anything? Chrome Host is, always considerable in this list. Um, and I think that because we're moving into that mid range, Chrome Host could be cool. Oh yeah, here's that hole breaker we were talking about. Do do do. Bow. Semblance Anvil. Our artifacts are low cost enough. Helm of Awakening. I'm not going to help my opponents. Am I? Daze. Somebody tried to daze me the other day, and it's like, how useless of a card late game. How useless. Foundry. Used to be good enough, but I'd rather have the Chroma. Sorry, I'll speak a little. I'll speak with a little bit of gusto for you guys. I'm at that point of the day where I could use one more cup of coffee. I've always liked the idea of Clan Crafter, and oh my goodness, wouldn't it be cool if something like that could be a background to Urza? You know, um, but I think the it's just not good enough. Muddle. I like the idea of you actually, but if I could transmute off the top of library, that would be way better. Whoa, 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 way better. We going back to basics? You going B2B? No. Here's where I'm at with back to basics. I think that we add the Harbinger of the Seas, honestly, before we go back to basics, because we run a lot of non-basics, and we don't mind if they turn into islands, but we absolutely do mind, um, if they don't untap. So as long as we're not running Harbinger, let's leave back to basics on the shelf. Does that make sense? Medallion. Why does Medallion never seem to make my list? Like it seems in like it should be smacking, but I think when we look at our instance, Banishing Act, Chain of Vapor, Flood Mob, Ponchify, Rapid, Retraction Helix, Cycriff, Snapback, those would benefit. I mean, Snapback not really because we're casting that for free. Sync of Stupors Land, Whir of Invention, cool. So we got Whir, Paradox, and Cycrift. Those are the instants that benefit from Sapphire. And then we have Magus, Floodcaller, Psy, Gadgeteer, Reality Chip, Hermit, Sculptor, Diversion Unit. That's actually a fair amount. And Tezzy, costing one less off that Sapphire. But do we really need more mana? Is that what we're here to do? Do we need more mana? Nah, I don't think that's what we're doing right now. I think what we're going to do is keep schmoving, flesh duplicate. How are we feeling about copies? I'm not feeling great about copies. I'm feeling way better about going doubles. Great. Let's take a look at Mirror Maid. Everybody's hot on Mirror Maid, but I'm not. Imposter Mech, you've always been good to me. You've always been just a cool card, but I'm thinking back and I'm like, where is an instance recently that I would like to have an imposter mech where it really would have been cool? I don't think I can think about one. Um, I mean, like I'm talking about just like where it could. I mean, imposter mech's obviously awesome. There's a lot of just like, oh my goodness, it could be this or that. It could even be a boat. But I'm thinking about like versus other cards in my games recently. Too inconsistent. Inspiring Statuary. I feel like it's one of those things where if I just put it in, I would find out it is gas. Non-artifact spells you have. Non-artifact spells you cast have improvise. Your artifacts can help cast those spells. Each artifact you tap after you're done activating mana abilities pays for one. Has anybody ran this? Okay, let's just think about this. Let's just say I have Inspiring Statuary and 3 artifacts down. I can tap for 2 artifacts and 2 colorless, cast Urza. I can spend 3 and 2 so I could get a Tezzeret down. That's kind of cool. But I'm already okay. Let me think about this. Non-artifact spells you cast have improvise. That only matters if I. Okay, never mind. Well, as soon as I have Urza, it's just like, what does that even matter? Yeah, if I have Urza, that's the most useless card in the world. Energy tap. I like that card. Not enough creatures. KCI in theory should be so wild in this deck. In theory should be so wild in this deck. Let me think about that. I think the problem is that we blow up our whole board swinging for something, and then we get funneled into a bottleneck that we can't get out of, and we can't recover. And that's not our game plan. Run away together, I like the idea of that card. But 2 mana is more than I want, and if we're going to play 2 mana cards, it's going to be Resculpt. Archaic. Yeah, Archaic. That's one of those ones. Okay. Yeah, we're going mid-rangey. Oh, goodness. We're going mid-rangey. I don't know if that... Yeah, I mean, that was kind of the point. We did want to go mid-rangey. That was what we were doing. Yeah, it's bad where I'm like, oh, yeah, that Archaic would have been gas. Oh, yeah. But it would have. Jin. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, I can kind of... Oh. Jin to win. Artifact, instant, sorcery. I used to play Jin. Wouldn't that be interesting? What artifacts would be wild to copy? 2 Aether Fluxes. 2 Basalts. 2 Prized Statues. What do I want to double? 2 Grinding Stations. 2 Monoliths. 2 Gold Pans. 2 Flutes. Yeah. There's actually a lot of these where it's like, if I got 2 of them, that'd be pretty cool. And they're not legends. So, instant sorceries. Where are we at on sorceries? A couple. Okay, let's remove that Ponder. And we are going to put in Hullbreaker. Horror. Bow. Okay, we're going to think about Jin later. I think what's going to happen is I'm going to pull these out, and then what we can do is... why is it giving me an error on the Mox field? Who's giving me an error on the Mox field? Nah, we're good. What edition Hullbreaker is that? That is Innistrad Change Printing. That is... Nope, it's the normal one. From... Oh my goodness, how many of these did they print? Oh my god, how many of these did they print? Innistrad, Crimson... Oh no, I got the stamp. Load more. Oh my goodness, the 2021... Oh, good. Cool, $12. Okay. I think what's going to happen is I'm going to make the edits, and then I'll just make an update video tomorrow. But I'm going to finish pulling out all the cards, because there's going to be a lot of thought that goes into this thing, and it's like, am I going to make a 2-hour video right now? Probably not. I would, but I don't think enough of you guys are actually watching these to do that right now. I'm gonna make hour-long videos until you guys earn your 2-hour videos. Um, Amphibian Downpour. Wouldn't that be just a yeah cast like yeah the downpour yeah yeah we're going so mid-range right now. Return all non-creature non-land permanents. No, I don't want to return my Mystic Forge to hand. Um, boop 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 boop. Are we taking extra turns? I don't think that helps us. Um, I was thinking about this Tezzy for a minute. Psychic Possession. Do we still like that card right now? Um, you know what's wild about the Psychic Possession is that there's so many Mystics and Ristics that if you just put it on, yeah, we're gonna go Psychic Possession. That's a card of mine. We're going mid-rangey, guys. We're going mid-range. Isn't it so weird how I figure out a list and I'm like mid-range? Um, let's go mess the whole thing up. Go mid-range. Um, nothing else on this page. See, there's just too many cards. I'm looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I can tell. I mean, already some. They're just not all of them are gonna make it. Displacer. Are we running Displacer right now? People get so wild about Displacer. Does Unwinding Clock help me, really? No. I have Flash, but I'm not putting in Untappers and Flash and One Ring and those things. I know One Ring is like the most mid-range of mid-range cards, but I don't know why. We're not doing that. Throne of Eldraine. If you could cast artifacts, I've always liked Throne. We are adding like my signature mid-range package of Psychic Possession, Throne of Eldraine, Wandering Archaic, Double Drakes, Jin. That's how I do this. That's how I play this game. That's how I play this game. Steel Enchantment. Dirty card. Nasty card. Copy and Artifacts. Curse and Swine. Rebuke and Winds. I don't think so. Not today. Traxos. If it wasn't on if it wasn't on cast and if it was on ETB, it'd be different, but it's not. Ooh, Apple of Eden Isu Relic. Apple of Eden Isu Relic. Yeah. We're getting to the cards that I came here for now. Drafna. Let me think about this. Drafna is the dumbest protection card. That's what Drafna is. You understand? Drafna is not a combo card, although it kind of is. We're gonna run Drafna. Let me explain what Drafna is gonna do for us. My board is looking hot. I got my Rings of Bright Hearth over here, and for whatever reason, I need to tap something, and I'm gonna go and sack, and then I reveal a Basalt Monolith. Oh my goodness. For efficiency's sake, I didn't want to let that mana burn, and now I've revealed my game plan via Moonsilver Key reveal, and they can see my rings there, and so somebody goes to destroy it or something like that. Well, guess what? I can return target artifact that I control to my hand, and I can recast. Isn't that cool? Yeah, because people are out here destroying things. Copy target artifact spell. I've got my game-winning artifact on the stack. How about we put that Pithing Needle or something like that on that's going to save the game? And they're like, ooh, mental misstep. Ah, man, Drafna. Tap for 3, copy that thing. Let's put another one on the stack. You got another mental misstep over there, buddy? Do you? Let's put Drafna over here. And what about this? That is a legend. I'm like, 2 apples? 2 apples? Is that a thing? Nah. Um, like it's almost card advantage. Paying 3 to copy, it's almost card advantage. Anything else over here? I don't think we're orbing right now. I don't think we're going wintry. Mirage Mirror. Nope. Revoker. I'm a huge Revoker fan. Narset. No. You just get blown up. Narset just gets blown up. Although I've had Narsets just ruin games for me. Are we staxing? These are all for consideration. This is our mid-range package. But mid-range, given what I've learned, there's just, it's AMPM. There's too much good stuff. I'm not sponsored. AMPM, throw me a sponsorship. Yeah, the zero costs. I tried them. We're gonna go mid-range. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything over here. That's an interesting one. Drifted Phantasms can be cast off the top for 3. Not terrible. You know, doesn't actually do anything as a 0/5 flying defender. But the transmute gets us that basalt, gets us the rings. What else is 3 cost? It can get us a flood collar, or yeah, it can get us the battered golem, I suppose. It can get us, yeah. I don't think we need more tutors that are that specific. Already talked about cantrips. I talked about zero costs. I talked about Isochron, Hercule's Recall. I don't want to send my own Crystal Skull Isu Spyglass back to hand. That's a problem for me. Okay, we're getting down to it, and we can see the winners. You can see the winners. Let's take a peek. Where did we end? We ended with 1, 2. Let me just put the binder away. We ended. I checked my mic. I'm like, if my mic is dead again for the second half of the video, we did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 cards. Obviously, I don't think they're all going to make it. We got a lot of 3 and 4s. Got some 5s. We're not looking at the low end over here. We're looking at our mid-range stuff, and we can only swap in so many mid-range cards without affecting the integrity of the deck. I'm going to figure out which ones are going to make it, which ones are not going to make it. It's going to be a tough one. I think for sure that this Hull Breaker is going. The next one after that, I really like the idea of these double drakes. I really like the idea of the double drakes. Just taking a peek at this, and then I think after that Harbinger. So I think Harbinger's a hitter, right? So why did I turn it over? Yeah, because they're under highly consideration. They're highly considered. And then double drakes, and then I think after that, archaic. We want protection. Archaic is protection and disruption. Protect and attack. Phyrexian Revoker, honestly, kind of a cool card. We talked a lot about Drafno, but I think the rest of these are in Yeah, Hullbreaker goes so hard. Storm Drake goes so hard. Archaic, you got to go back to consideration. I can't just be like, oh man, you go so hard. Harbinger, you really do go hard. Yeah, we're really getting down to it. And Gilded Drake. Okay. Yep. Pack it up, everybody. Go home. Uh, we're going double Drake, Harbinger, and the Hullbreaker. Isn't that weird? One, two, three, four more creatures. No more they're not artifacts, but they're such great control cards and a win con that they're really good. So Karn, man. 4 is just a lot. It's more than I want to do. It's more than I want to do. Okay, so I think we're gonna leave us off there. I'm gonna keep considering things. Um, I know that this Ponder is coming out. You know what? Let's just do it. We're gonna do it now. I mean, I'm gonna do this. Like, why would I turn off the camera and then do this? Transmute, fabricate, torpor orb, question pile. You're seeing what's making it into the question pile here. Hmm. Jeez. Hmm. Okay. Hmm. I know I'm not giving you guys a lot of stuff, but I think that this is again where I want to just take you and put you on my shoulder, but I can't think at the same time with the quality that I need to while and make the video while doing this. So just assume my thoughts. Okay. So what triggered my skepticism? Let's take a look at these cards. We have got one, two, three, four. The double Drakes, a Harbinger, and a Hullbreaker. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4. Got 7 on my skeptical list. We're going to see if I like any of these cards out here more than the ones on my skeptical list. Ponder. We're going to 1-for-1 you with Hullbreaker. Thelwar Stone. I think I'm comfortable taking a Mind Stone from all the way out there and doing that. Isn't that weird? To get that card draw? I think so. Moonsnare Prototype. Anything to be scrappy in the early game, right? You know what else is scrappy in the early game? A Gilded Drake. Now we're getting down to the toughies. I like Greystone because I can tap it and it's always working. I like that card a lot. Welding Jar. Fortunately, you're just not consistently doing enough. I hate to say that, doesn't it? Hurts my soul to say that. Just a little bit. But it's true. Harbinger. And Storm Drake. Oh my goodness. The showdown. Torpor Orb, Relic, Storm Drake. I think. Geez, this is such a tough one. Maybe. Man. Because the Relic, I mean. Okay, so let's think about it. If I keep what I got now, I'll have Tormod's Crypt, Soul Guide Lantern, and what other graveyard hate? I feel like I had one more. Geez, Tormod's Crypt, and then the Silent Gravestones. Oh, geez, just saw it. I think that's plenty. Torpor Orb, Nombos, a little bit with just the Urza construct. Goes so hard. So I think what I'm leaning towards is this Relic. I think the Relic goes. We're going to live in double Drake land. Okay, let's look at our 1-for-1s. Let's look at what got swapped. Isn't it weird? Yeah, Torpor Orb. So the thing is that everybody's ETBing all over the place. And Thassa's is Thassa's. So we're going to shut down Thassa's. That's what we're there to do. Just shut down Thassa's. Is there a thing on here that's better than Torpor Orb? Probably. Okay, Moonsnare Prototype, Gilded Drake. Yeah. We're just going to make that right now. Remove. Gilded. We're moving into mid-range. Moonsnare Prototype, take a seat. Gilded Drake, welcome off the bench. Welcome off the bench. Good to see you. Every time I'm thinking about it, I'm like, man, like, what a card. It's a creature's meta. It's a creature's meta. Hullbreaker Horror. Ponder. I think we already actually swapped you in the computer. Great Ponder. I'm sorry, the cantrips just... There's so many cards that I want to run, and you just can't run them all. And even if they're the coolest Ponder in the world with Urza, being what it is, can't run it. Okay. Hullbreaker, and then Storm Drake. You guys made it. You. Did I add the volatile Stormdrake in? I don't know how it got its sleeve. Relic. Yeah. Remove. And then volatile. Stormdrake. Welding jar. Really like the altar art. Anya. But, oh my goodness, Harbinger of the Seas. Hoses. And the more problems I present, the wider the gap I have in order to get through. This is the one thing where I'm like, we're going to accentuate our game plan a little bit with the draw ability. Yeah, see, you see, we're like Felwar versus Mindstone. Like, Felwar is really good until you have Urza. Mindstone's way better after you have Urza, you see? And that's, we're just going to plan on having Urza getting to late game. Of course, this is, Felwar is one of the cards that gets it, but whatever. We're putting in a Mind Stone. Like, it's not that different. Where's Felwar? I'm on it. Remove. Mind Stone. Isn't it weird how you never would have woke up this morning and been like, I'm going to put Mind Stone in my deck. And then suddenly you're like, here I am. Okay, so overall, what just left? Like, what did we just lose? We lost velocity, right? That's what we lost. We lost velocity. We lost a Moonsnare and a Felwar. Moonsnare we did not replace. Felwar we kind of replaced. Ponder, we didn't replace anything that does that. Relic, I mean, these became double drakes, right? So these don't cast off the top. But we're not storming as hard as we were. This just hits the field, turns on Opal and things. I think we added a set of much higher impact cards to the game. Relic, granted, is probably the one that I'm like most gonna miss out of this because graveyard hate. But we already run Tormod's Silent Gravestone and the Soul Guide Lantern. That's 3. That's enough. I had 2 out on the field the other day, and I was like, that redundancy isn't feeling good. Am I ever going to be like, I didn't win the game because I didn't have a Moonsnare? I couldn't win because I didn't have a Relic or a Ponder or a Felwar or I think that the cards that we added were way higher impact. We just added a Harbinger, Double Drakes, a WinCon, Harbinger, Double Drakes, a WinCon. What was the last one? And a Mind Stone. That was just a swap. That's what we added. Not drastic, but enough to just get us a little mid-range grindy spice. Another win condition for the later game. I think that's going to be fine, honestly. I don't think that affects our game plan very much. I think it accentuates it. Okay, so maybe we go and try and get a game in over on the spell table. Working on being able to find a way to record that for you guys. But in the meantime, I guess this is going to be just a deck update video. I wasn't expecting to, do the whole thing, but honestly, I think we're going to be good. I wasn't like, I didn't think looking at the binder I was going to find that much. And the things that were going to come out, I didn't think were going to come out like that. And what I'm saying is like it really is a process, and that's why I wanted to capture this on video, is because I don't know how this is going to end when I start it. I don't know what the deck is going to look like. We just ended up there, and it's a process, and it's like kind of a methodology, and then you look at the card for cards, and you can just make sure it matches up with your observations from last time, and that the functionality that you pulled from, because all of these were adding to things. This is top deck casting. This is also top deck casting because it's top deck manipulation. This is interaction because it's a channel effect. And that early game blue, it's like we're just and this is also making sure I'm not losing the game. So like there's and then zero cost artifacts, which also is going to be required for things like my Hullbreaker combo that I just put in. It's to make sure that like we still have strong things in the areas that we need these to be in. And I think that we do. So we again are like kind of doing a haircut, shaving from all these different areas in order to add a cohesive control package where it's just like, yeah, we just added a Harbinger and a couple of Drakes. It's like, oh, nobody likes to see that in the mid game. Nobody. So thanks for being here. I think that's all we got. I'm going to put these cards away, and I will see you next time.